Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we are reviewing One Battle After Another, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, Regina, Teyana Taylor, and of course, newcomer Chase Infiniti. This movie follows an ex-revolutionary whose life, along with his daughters, is thrown in jeopardy when an enemy from the past comes back to find them. It is an uproariously funny political thriller that perfectly balances the larger themes in the macro with the more intimate father-daughter story in the micro. This is also PTA's first action film, bringing his unique style to the genre. I'll of course be getting to spoilers for One Battle After Another, so if you haven't had a chance to watch it just yet, definitely go check it out in theaters. It is a movie worth watching on the big screen, and if you have the opportunity, check it out in 70mm IMAX like I did last night. It'll very much be worth your time, and for those who already have watched this film, let's get into it.
Hey, thank you, Sensei. Thank you, Sensei. Thank you. God damn it! Viva la revolution!
Okay, let me get through my one main issue with this film right off the bat, which is the film's pacing and length. This movie is 2 hours and 41 minutes long, and with most films at that runtime, it is difficult to sustain a pacing that keeps the audience fully engaged throughout the entire runtime. And as PTA's last few films definitely landed on the slower side, I was worried that this film would do the same, and that isn't entirely the case here. For the most part, this film makes the most out of its runtime, with a great extended prologue guiding us through the characters' histories before jumping into the main conflict of the film. The movie opens with Leonardo DiCaprio and Teyana Taylor as Bob Ferguson and PERFIDIA Beverly Hills, which are great character names by the way, during their time in the French 75, a revolutionary group who fought against civil injustices and corporate greed. The thrill of their rebellious behaviors fueled their intense romance, but when PERFIDIA has her child, her longing for revolution costs her a potential family life with Bob. We also get to meet Sean Penn as the absolute maniac that is Colonel Stephen J. LOCKJAW, who is very much giving RFK Jr. in this film. He is a white supremacist with a high rank in government policing, who very much fetishizes PERFIDIA, leading to a disturbing relationship between the two, leading to him being the true biological father to her daughter. This entire opening is very well paced and thrilling. It quickly gets you endeared to these characters and fascinated with where the story will go, especially in regards to LOCKJAW's obsession over these two characters. But once PERFIDIA is arrested and her riding out the French 75 gets her friends and old allies killed, the movie hits a reset point as we move 16 years forward. Like I said, for the most part, this movie handles its runtime very well. This extended prologue is one of my favorite parts of the film, but it's the transition from this quickly paced prologue to the meat of the story that felt like a bit of a drag. It is brief, but whenever the film hits a major transition point in the story, you can feel the film taking a step back before launching you forward. And boy, does this movie launch you far. The second act has to essentially reintroduce you to the characters and their dynamics. DiCaprio's vigorous rebel nature has almost entirely faded away in favor of drugs and paranoia, but his love and protectiveness over his daughter, played by Chase Infiniti in her very first film role, is still very much front and center to his character. So it is in this section of reintroducing these characters that had me slipping away from the film just a bit, but the second Regina walks into that bathroom and Willa goes on the run with her father desperately trying to find her, the movie gets a significant shot in the arm that almost never lets up. Between this film and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, DiCaprio has more than proven that he plays a complete buffoon incredibly well. His manic behavior and paranoia is so entertaining to watch, and the humor you get out of him desperately trying to get back to his old ways kept me so engaged with his story. The ongoing bits of him forgetting the secret passwords and code speak for the Underground Revolution phone line was so incredibly funny. I just can't get over it.
What time is it?
If you don't give me the rendezvous point, I swear to God, I will hunt you down and stick a loaded fucking hot piece of dynamite right up your fucking asshole.
And helping him on his crusade to find Willa is Benicio del Toro as Sensei Sergio, and he is by far my favorite character inside of this film. Del Toro plays his character with such confidence, and when you pair that with DiCaprio's unraveling desperation, you have a recipe for success. The entire sequence of Del Toro maneuvering all the undocumented immigrants to safety while DiCaprio harassed the poor revolutionary on the phone was brilliant. There's just so much going on from a directorial standpoint. The way the camera weaves through the building in long sweeping takes, the way all the extras on sets are blocked perfectly to show how well oiled of a machine Sergio runs, the way the skateboarders maneuver back and forth completely in sync, the way PTA keeps us moving in and out of the order and synchronicity of Sergio's plan to the complete lack of cohesion with Bob's struggles to plug in his phone and remember the secret password. There is just so much at play in this sequence, and I loved every second of it. And we top it all off with the skateboarders expertly parkouring over rooftops while DiCaprio struggles, ultimately leading to him falling off the roof and getting himself captured. So much for Sergio's expertly executed plan. And so although the pacing going from the first act to the second act is a little bit rough for me, the pacing throughout the entirety of the second act is extremely well done, as it cuts between the going-ons of Bob and the story of Willa discovering who her family truly is. Chase Infiniti captures the innocence of a sheltered girl very well, but she is also very much her mother's daughter. Her and Regina Hall's dynamic worked very well, and I appreciated Willa's instincts to instantly trust in the situation she's found herself in, and watching her carefully maneuvering through it. You get to see the fight grow within her as the film progresses, as moments like her firing off the automatic rifle very much mirrored her mother earlier inside of the film. And once LOCKJAW manages to catch up to her, the way she pieces together the history of her family was all seen through Chase's wordless performance and through her eyes. The entire sequence with her and Sean Penn was equally as tense as anything that came before this point, and it was one of the strongest displays of acting throughout a film with so many standout performances. But once Sergio is able to get Bob close enough to the rendezvous point, and LOCKJAW confirms he had a daughter with a black woman, which goes against his white supremacist moral values, we get an incredibly tense third act as we watch Bob desperately trying to save his daughter before LOCKJAW gets her killed. The shootouts we see here are all solid, but it's the several car chases that brought me back to the feeling I had watching Steven Spielberg's Duel. Hearing the roar of the engines go across the hilly desert roads gave me chills, and the entire concept of the hills blocking the view from car to car changed the dynamic of this car chase from being the generic who will catch up to who first to a true cat and mouse chase as each car hides from the other at high speeds. It was so well done, and I really loved how each character's journey ends. Bob reunites with his daughter, and they become much closer because of the events of this film. Rather than hiding his past from her, he brings her into his world and fully passes the baton of a revolutionary to the next generation. When it comes to the macro perspective of this film, it's largely about how the fight against tyranny and fascism doesn't simply stop. It goes from one battle to the next, one generation to the next, and this film portrays these themes from a micro perspective in a father-daughter relationship with Bob and Willa. She ends off the film having gotten herself out of the life-threatening situation she found herself in, and in the final moments of her escape, as she points her gun to her father, her yelling at him, asking, "Who are you?" adds so much nuance to all the other times that different revolutionaries asked Bob who he was, whether it was simply to verify his identity through code words, or to see if he truly is still the war hero he had been propped up to be. Or in Willa's mind, if this entire situation comes from her parents' past, what in turn does that make her? And that question is answered as Willa goes off to join a new movement of revolutionaries at the end of the film, with hope that one day she can possibly reunite with her mother, who is still mysteriously missing at the ending of the film, but it is very much hinted at that she is out there somewhere wanting to reunite with her one day. When it comes to Sean Penn's LOCKJAW, he was shot in the face by one of the high-ranking members of this corporate-driven group of white supremacists for having any relation whatsoever with PERFIDIA. Having a mixed-race daughter is unforgivable to them, so they supposedly have him killed, but in one of the funniest moments inside of this entire movie, we get to see that he survived the gunshot to the face, because of course he did, and his incredible walk towards the camera quickly became one of my favorite shots in the entire film. He again tries to join the ranks of this weird corporate group who have this strange Christmassy theme to their whole way of being, which was also quite funny, and they simply have him killed anyway, because if it's one thing that we know of groups like this, it's that they thrive off of power and loyalty, and they will use you as a means to an end before throwing you out like you were nothing, especially when that loyalty is put into question, or in this case, laying with the quote-unquote enemy. I also want to highlight a couple things on the technical side of this film. I actually have not seen many Paul Thomas Anderson films. I have seen The Master, which has phenomenal performances, but is quite slow for me, and same can honestly be said for Licorice Pizza and Phantom Thread, which despite, again, being a bit too slow for me, I still enjoyed them for what they were. But I haven't seen the iconic films like Magnolia or Boogie Nights or There Will Be Blood, so as of right now, this is easily my favorite film from Paul Thomas Anderson. But most importantly, it's the first film of his that I have truly loved, and it has definitely given me the itch to finally dive into his filmography to see what else he has to offer. Besides the film's impeccable direction, I also have to praise Michael Ballman's cinematography. I did watch this in 70mm IMAX, which is truly something special to see, so if you are fortunate enough to live near one of those screens, definitely check it out in that format. If not, a standard IMAX screen should suffice. And also the score from Johnny Greenwood elevated the intensity of every single scene it was featured in.
There are no hands on the clock.
Why?
Because they're not needed.
What time is it?
Fuck. You know, I don't remember that part.
But those are just going to be my thoughts on Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another. Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Is this one of your favorite PTA films, or did the buzz from this film set too high of expectations, leaving you disappointed? And of course, if you enjoyed this review, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to see more videos just like this. I'm currently working on my own short films, so if videos over the next week or two are scarce, it's because I am deep into filming, but I cannot wait to share the final shorts with all of you guys once it is complete later next month. But that'll be it from me. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope to see you all in my next one.